This comes to us from Artemis for Now. The all-powerful Ofcom wants to force BBC content into your YouTube feed, whether you want it or trust it, in a sort of force-fed algorithmic propaganda way. If Ofcom does this, your feed won't reflect what people want to see, only what they're told they should. Government approved content. This is yet another thing that falls in line with seemingly everything else we always talk about when it comes to they want to keep you in a bubble. They want to control the news. They want to control what you see, what you hear, and what you think so that they can control your opinion and what you vote on to push the power forward for them every single time. And this comes to us from the Financial Times. And this is a very reputable site, by the way. YouTube could be forced to promote British public service TV content. Media regulator Ofcom, which, fun fact, the lawyer representing me against Alyssa Mercante, who I believe is wrongfully suing me for harassment, he is now representing America suing Ofcom, saying, yeah, no, you're not bringing that shit over here. Because Ofcom is running more like a propaganda outlet kind of closer to North Korea than any kind of free government. Media regulator Ofcom warns networks such as BBC and Channel 4 are endangered as viewers move online. Hey, ready? Oh, no. So you're telling me that the government propaganda is not getting to the people anymore, and you need to make sure it does? Color me shocked. Fewer than half of the 16 to 24-year-olds tuned into broadcast TV in an average week last year, while younger children spent far more time watching YouTube. Of course, because people aren't falling for this shit anymore. They'd rather just be entertained. They already know the government is full of shit, full of propaganda, full of pushing agendas. Big shock, I know. Digital platforms such as YouTube could be forced to make programs from UK public service television channels prominent to protect endangered networks. What about natural selection, bro? What about if people don't want to watch it, then it shouldn't be there? What about the free market? How about that? Such as BBC and Channel 4, according to British media watchdog. So once again, they are trying to force themselves into an area to get money and power where they don't belong. That would be like me being a YouTube channel that sucked, that nobody wanted to watch, no one cared about, everyone just walked away from, and I had zero audience anymore. And I just was like, hey, YouTube, I'm partnered with the government. You need to shove my channel into everyone's feed. Why? Because I feel like my channel is endangered right now, and I provide a great service for the people. And you need to put me there and make sure I'm getting paid for it. Ofcom on Monday said there needed to be a prominence and discoverability for content from public server broadcasters, PSBs, on the online platforms that audiences increasingly use, which ironically is going the opposite direction of what America is doing with Trump shutting down the funding to these places right now. They are saying, nope, we not only need to fund them, but we need to make sure the funding is coming from YouTube, and we're going to make laws to make YouTube force them into your feed to make them the money. This is insanity. It added that in particular, it was critical that the public service broadcasters and YouTube work together to ensure that PSB content is prominent on its service and on fair commercial terms. Here's my fair commercial terms offer for you, fucktards. If you don't make content people care about, get the fuck out. How about that? If you're providing a service people care about, great. You will naturally grow and people will understand there's a use and importance to you. Funny how the free market works. Wild, wild. Ofcom said the government should consider whether this needs to be underpinned by legislation to give statutory backing to PSB content on YouTube, especially news and children's programs. Isn't there a YouTube Kids? Again, here we go again. I'm like shoving my skull into my brain very hard because it's so frustrating. I am a parent. I have 2 kids. My kids watch YouTube Kids. I see the content they watch. For the most part, perfectly fine. I don't really have much of an issue with it. 99.9% of the time, it's like whatever. There's this one-off instance once in a while, but that welcome to life where you just get like something weird where you're just like, yeah, I don't want you watching that. Welcome again to being a parent where that's life. Where, I mean, I've walked on the street in public in San Diego before with my kids, and a homeless lady that was clearly on drugs and not in the right mind was not wearing a top, and she was completely out of it, and her body was not in any kind of condition that anyone would ever want to see. And I'm walking with my kids on the sidewalk. She turns and my kids look right up at her while I'm walking with them publicly outside in San Diego. And I'm just like, well, like, what the fuck can you do? Like, it's like, here we are. It's like, it just happens. Welcome to real life, guys. There's just crazy people here. You got to learn a lot more about them when you get older. But they get their children's programming perfectly fine right now. It's a great system. They watch what they want to watch, and it's reciprocated, and they enjoy it. Perfect. Why do we need to inject government-sponsored children's programming? It's very strange. Very strange. Almost like they want to inject ideologies and propaganda at a young age. No, a government would never do that. No. Britain's existing Media Act already guarantees PSB's prominence on connected TVs and other devices. Yikes. Which means being seen among the first viewing options on the home screen carousel. Oh my God. Imagine being in the position of being so shitty at what you do, yet because you have a deal with the government, it doesn't matter. They're going to feature you prominently no matter what. Because reasons. Yeah, you represent the better interest of the people, quote unquote. With more audiences watching online, the PSBs have developed on-demand services such as BBC's iPlayer. However, this has not fully offset declines in viewing to traditional linear channels, with younger audiences in particular more likely to watch YouTube, Netflix, and TikTok. My God. So people are more inclined to watch something that they would rather watch? My God, that's fascinating. Wow. This would be like, hey, what's the latest game that just came out? I really want to play it. Hey, yeah, that's a really cool game, but we're from the government. We're here to help, and we have a game that you need to play first. Here, we're going to push this for you first. Wait, I want to play the other game. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. We made this one ourselves. What? Get out of here with this. PSBs are now increasingly placing their shows on third-party platforms to follow their audiences, but are competing with vast libraries of rival content. Public service companies' video-on-demand players only account for 9% of all viewing, according to Ofcom data. Ofcom said that viewers now spend less than half of their in-home viewing on traditional linear TV channels, and that this was still declining. Last year, fewer than half of the 16 to 24-year-olds tuned into broadcast TV in an average week, while younger children spent far more time watching YouTube. Oh, here we go, guys. Ready? Think of the children coming in. If no action is taken, the very existence of the PSBs will be threatened. Good. And nothing of value was lost. Time is running out to save this pillar of UK culture and way of life, the regulator said. What they're not mentioning, by the way, is if you are injecting a quote unquote UK culture, you are inherently pushing out a different culture that was taking its place that people would rather watch. But you're trying to prioritize yourself because, hey, you're a public service. You should definitely be featured prominently because government and reasons. Yeah, sure. That doesn't sound like North Korea at all. No, not China at all. A YouTube spokesperson said, "We are proud of our relationship with British broadcasters and are committed to ensuring that they thrive in the digital era." I wonder if that's YouTube just being corpo speak because they don't want to get fucked in the area. So they're like, yeah, we'll do whatever we need to do. And they already know. YouTube knows this, by the way. They know that if this goes through, that people aren't going to be mad at YouTube because YouTube's going to be like, yeah, talk to your officials in your government because we're just following the rules here, bro. This is your government that enacted this. We don't have a choice anymore. So of course YouTube's going to be fine with whatever they want to do. There's zero accountability for YouTube. A DCMS spokesperson said that ministers would now consider the recommendations. Oh, God, here we go. In the wide-ranging review designed to ensure the future of the UK's public broadcasters, Ofcom has launched an assessment of the regulation of broadcast TV and radio. It recommended a bonfire of red tape to strip away outdated and unnecessary restrictions, given much of the existing legislative and regulatory framework was designed for traditional linear TV. So they're trying to change it to the format that what people are already watching, and then get a free priority viewing spot for people to be forced to watch them. Ofcom also urged broadcasters to be more ambitious in pursuing strategic and technological partnerships with each other. It said less commercially viable genres such as news, less commercially viable genres such as news, guys, news is extremely commercially viable if it's trustworthy. That's the fascinating difference right now. If you can be trusted with news, people will come and listen to you. If you are bullshitting people, they want nothing to do with it. That's how news works. Local news and children's content should be prioritized if the government was to decide to allocate additional public funding. Oh my God. Yeah. This is Britain pushing with Ofcom. I'm telling you guys, Ofcom needs to be disbanded. Ofcom has way too much power, and they're starting to act like a liberal feminist group of women to push agendas forward to get things in place that have no right being there. This is absolutely insane. I'm actually impressed with how crazy this is. I don't even have any words for it anymore. You guys, you saw what I had to say while I went through it. This is crazy. This is great. Yet another one. Ofcom, market. By the way, I guess I'll leave it at this. This is what they want to perpetuate throughout the entire world. Everything that they're doing there, Ofcom wants to push everywhere else. Remember that. I'll leave it there. Holy crap.